You know, the notion of a market in human organs just strikes many as ethically or morally repugnant. Certainly those who choose to sell their organs will be predominantly poor. And is it not exploitation to take advantage of their duress? Doesn't this make the growing inequalities between rich and poor rise to a new and disturbing level? Is the human dignity of people who sell their organs compromised? And more pragmatically, might the existence of a market create incentives for fraud or dishonesty? Might it undermine the altruism that drives our current model? Well, it's hard to dispute that the current model has serious flaws. Some 75,000 in this country are on the waiting list for kidney transplants. In the next year, only 18,000 will receive them. Within that year, nearly 4,000 will die. Another 1,200 or more will become too sick to transplant. Those on dialysis have a seriously impaired quality of life, and about half the life expectancy of those receiving transplants. The argument in favor of a market solution is grounded in basic economics. If you want to increase the supply of available organs, you need to create incentives for donors, is the argument. The easiest case may be a family death benefit for those who agreed to be organ donors when they apply for driver's licenses and whose organs are actually used. This addresses the need for livers, lungs, hearts, and other transplantable organs. But kidney transplants are the most common and the only organ available from living donors. And this is a case that dramatizes the nexus between freedom of contract and personal liberty. Suppose you or your child needs a kidney, and you agree to pay a sum, say $25,000, to a donor. Well, in many parts of the world, such a sum is life-changing. Suppose $25,000 enables the donor to get health care for his parents or an education for his children. Both sides to this bargain receive benefits powerful to them, and there's no obvious harm to anybody else. So why should this contract be illegal? When legislators who find such bargains repugnant pass laws imposing their views, they are quite literally causing sick people to die. How can this be morally acceptable? Before closing, I'd like to note that this is the final debate of our spring season and our final debate at Asia Society. This has been a wonderful venue for us, but all of our debates have been sold out, and we've had to turn hundreds away. We begin again in September at Casbury Auditorium at Rockefeller University, 66th Street and York Avenue. Our new venue is substantially bigger and will meet the demand for the kind of elevated public discourse we at IQ Squared try to provide. Tonight's resolution is a great example. It raises issues in ethics and economics, in morality and mortality. We have an outstanding panel and a stellar moderator in Ira Flatow, a veteran NPR science correspondent, award-winning TV journalist. Ira, the evening is yours.
Thank you, Bob. The topic for discussion is, we should legalize the market for human organs, pro or con, yes or no? And you can actually vote. If you look at the keypad, there's a keypad attached to the armrest on your left. It should look something like this. No money is going to come out of it if you put in well, I don't know. Maybe something will happen. Now, when I prompt you, we're going to take a vote before and then after the debate and see if your mind has been changed or if you have any different ideas after listening to the debate. And so after I prompt you, you press 1 for the motion, we should legalize the market for human organs, or 2 to vote against. And if you're one of the great undecideds, you could even go for 3. So it is 1 for the motion, 2 against, and 3 if you are undecided. You can vote now. Do I do the Jeopardy music here? I don't think so. We're going to reveal as I say, we will reveal the outcome of the votes later in the evening. But let's get right on to the main topic of discussion. I'm going to introduce the panel, and they're all well-known people, so please hold your applause until all 6 are introduced. Now, we have for the motion Professor of Law at the other end of the table at George Mason University, Lloyd Cohen. He's Director of Transplantation and Professor of Surgery at SUNY Upstate Medical University. Amy Friedman. Segued too fast, Amy Friedman. Okay. She's Director of Transplantation and Professor of Surgery at SUNY Upstate Medical University. And next to her is Sally Satel. She is psychiatrist and resident scholar at the American Enterprise Institute for Public Policy Research. Against the motion, on my left, we have the Professor of Ethics at the University of Virginia and Director of the Institute for Practical Ethics in Public Life, James Childress. Welcome. Professor of Surgery at Harvard Medical School and Director of Medical Affairs for the Transplantation Society, Francis Delmonico. And on the end, Professor of Social Medicine and Director of the Center on Medicine and as a profession at Columbia University, David Rothman. Welcome all to you to the program. Let's begin the debate. I'm going to call each member of the debating team to the podium in order, and they're going to give their viewpoint, and then we'll move on from there and continue our debate. And first up in the order of debate is for the proposition is Sally Satel.